we as a whole realize Facebook abuses our protection. In any case, a large number of us belittle how meddling this is. Clue: it is more regrettable than you can actually envision. Facebook isn't simply keeping an eye on our inclinations and exercises, however our way of life, political arrangement, most profound privileged insights and other private matters we presumably favor keeping secret. Facebook screens you so intently that it likely knows you better than you do. As you are going to discover, erasing your Facebook account or in any event declining to utilize Facebook or any of its sister administrations won't prevent Facebook from following you. Facebook makes and keeps a profile page for you regardless of whether you don't utilize any of its administrations, and that is only a hint of something larger. Facebook knows your political philosophy regardless of whether you have never uncovered it on any of its applications or loved the page of a political competitor. Facebook decides your political inclining by taking a gander at your exercises across its administrations. It at that point utilizes this data to sort you as a liberal, moderate, or traditionalist. How Facebook truly limits your political convictions stays muddled. A few examiners think it tracks your cooperations with politically uncovered affiliations. For example, preferring or collaborating with the Facebook page of State the National Rifle Association will lead Facebook to finish up you a moderate. Facebook knows when you are infatuated, months before you authoritatively post in on your profile or divider. On account of long stretches of dissecting billions or even trillions of information, Facebook can precisely anticipate the conduct to two would-be lovebirds. Facebook realizes something is blending when it sees an unexpected expansion in the remarks and commitment between two individuals. Would-be lovebirds begin leaving a normal of 1.53 posts every day on one another's divider 85 days prior to making their relationship official. This increments to 1.67 posts every day 12 days before the relationship begins. However, things hinder a piece when the new sweethearts start their relationship. Their remarks, messages and collaborations by and large become lower. In any case, lower doesn't mean awful. All things considered, it implies the relationship is sound. The most recent remarks, messages and cooperations consistently contain more beneficial substance than those sent before the relationship started. SMS and MMS you send or get. It saves everything about these calls, including the names and telephone quantities of the guest and beneficiary and the date, time and length of the telephone call. Facebook holds this data for quite a long time. In 2018, a few clients who downloaded their information chronicles containing data Facebook had on them discovered call logs and SMS messages going back to 2015. Fortunately for iOS clients, this outrageous penetrative security is restricted to Android gadgets since Apple doesn't permit outsider applications access such information in its typical style. Facebook denied it gained admittance to its Android clients' call and SMS logs without authorization. This is somewhat obvious since the element was auto-select, and especially with early forms of Android, you naturally consent to it by downloading and utilizing the Facebook app. However, A few clients have blamed Facebook for unlawfully getting to their call and SMS information in later forms of Android that require Facebook to request authorization to get to your telephone, SMS and MMS information. They guarantee Facebook got to their calls and messages even after they declined its solicitation. Numerous individuals don't utilize Facebook or have erased their Facebook accounts over protection concerns. In any case, this doesn't mean they're liberated from Facebook's intrusiveness. Facebook minds your business regardless of whether you don't utilize its administrations. It realizes you exist and has likely made a profile for you on Facebook. Everyone has a Facebook profile as long as they have companions, companions of companions, companions of companions of companions, and so forth at utilization Facebook. These alleged shadow profiles are in a real sense undetectable to the unaided eye. Since they just exist on Facebook servers, let us expect a speculative situation where you don't utilize Facebook yet your companions do. Facebook transfers and saves their contacts on its workers when they join. It at that point interfaces these telephone numbers with existing Facebook clients, who it recommends they add as companions. That is, the individuals you may know include we see on our home feed. Facebook makes a shadow profile for individuals like you who don't have a profile. It improves the data on your shadow profile as a greater amount of your companions join and transfer their contacts. Facebook joins your shadow profile with your genuine profile when you at last join. This is the means by which it suggests companions you should add regardless of whether you don't transfer your contact. Google is notorious for its unquenchable interest in data about your area. Notwithstanding, it has an undeclared contender, one that we regularly disregard in issues identifying with area robbery. Facebook knows where you are at each second. In the event that you feel that is unpleasant, we should add that it additionally stores this data on its workers. So it knows wherever you have been long after you have left and most likely failed to remember you were ever there. Facebook tracks you utilizing the Facebook application on your telephone. The application tracks you without fail, in any event, when it isn't being used. Facebook offers everybody the alternative of restricting the application's following component or in any event, turning it off totally. However, as others have discovered, Facebook still tracks you regardless of whether you select out 5. While it will presently depend on utilizing the area highlights on your telephone, it will fall back on utilizing your Wi-Fi, IP address, Bluetooth, perusing propensities, places you register to, and different substance you transfer to the site to decide your area. Dissimilar to the area include, you can't kill this one. Facebook knows when you are pregnant or prone to become pregnant, that is, on the off chance that you are not effectively pregnant. So try not to be astonished when you begin seeing advertisements for infant care items. Facebook permits promoters to target pregnant ladies, and they will target you in the event that they presume you are one. Facebook wouldn't deliver data on how it distinguishes pregnant ladies. Nonetheless, it said it infrequently utilizes information from a woman's notice to decide whether they are pregnant. This disclosure is in reality extremely frightening, despite the fact that it should be soothing. A notice should be the likeliest method to know whether a lady is pregnant, right? This even negates what Facebook enlightened a publicist concerning how it recognizes pregnant ladies. It said it decides the probability of a lady being pregnant dependent on what they post on Facebook. Facebook didn't clarify what it implies by post. An announcement is a post, yet a post isn't really a notice. Advertisement age. which examined the debate behind Facebook's promotions focused at pregnant ladies, said Facebook was as a rule deliberately obscure about uncovering how it decides whether a lady is pregnant. Facebook knows when you are sleeping and alert. On the off chance that you don't disapprove of that, stand by until you hear that it made this information openly accessible to everybody. Anybody equipped for composing a touch of code to separate this data from Facebook's Messenger will know your REST pattern. Messenger contains highlights that distinguishes when you are utilizing the application on any of your gadgets. By composing a code to check the status of everybody on their companion list, an individual can decide when their companions are on the web, disconnected, or online yet inert. They would then be able to utilize this data to decide when they are alert and sleeping. Back to connections. Facebook can anticipate when you and your accomplice are going to separation, even before both of you understands it. So have confidence a separation is in progress when you begin seeing dating site advertisements on your newsfeed. You either fix those remaining details or simply click on the advertisements to attempt your karma with somebody else. Facebook doesn't foresee your separation dependent on the photos you take with your sweetheart or how oftentimes you impart. Or maybe it decides it depended on your shared companions and your relationship with your accomplice's dear companions. Facebook considers your relationship sound in the event that you and your accomplice have numerous common companions, and on the off chance that you are near your accomplice's dear friends. However, in the event that you don't have numerous shared companions and your accomplice is removed from your dear companions, at that point there is a high likelihood your relationship is going down south. Facebook knows such connections scarcely keep going for a very long time prior to flaming out. On the off chance that you use Facebook on your PC, at that point we ought to advise you that Facebook tracks your mouse cursor. During U.S. Congress examinations concerning the notorious Cambridge Analytica embarrassment in 2018, Facebook uncovered it tracks cursor developments to decide if the client is a human or bot. 10. This would have been an excellent reason. Aside from that, Facebook had uncovered reality a couple of years sooner, when it said it tracks our mouse cursor developments to decide the advertisements we tapped on and float round. In one sentence, Facebook tracks our cursors to know the promotions we're keen on. In 2017, Gizmodo author Kashmir Hill found a tragically missing relative after Facebook proposed he added her as a companion. They had no shared companion, had various family names, and had not seen in 35 years, but then Facebook by one way or another sorted out they were related. We as of now clarified how this individuals you may know include works in a prior section. Notwithstanding, it has all the earmarks of being more modern than we think. Facebook doesn't just rely upon your telephone contacts and shadow profiles to recommend the individuals you may know. It likewise utilizes your area, facial acknowledgement, innovation, and even purchases information from other applications. A specialist once had Facebook prescribing her patients to each other. However, in what qualifies as completely incongruity, Kashmir Hill was investigating and testing to interpret how the Facebook companion recommendation include functioned. At the time Facebook suggested he added Rebecca Porter as a friend. Ms. Watchman was his distant auntie. She wedded his granddad's sibling a year after he was conceived, and that was the solitary time they ever met. They had no common companions and lived far separated. She lived in Ohio while he lived in Florida. Hill's organic granddad, who is called Porter, relinquished him when he was as yet an infant, and he was later embraced by a man named Hill. This was the place where he got his family name, Hill. After 35 years, Facebook connected him up with his distant auntie.